Hello again, I'm back. Another edition or another episode for Engineering Paradise. And once again, I'm Sylvain Rochon, and I'm going to be talking about the other chapter I wrote in the news section, which is the economy for the people. The reason we call it economy for the people is that we're really angling it so that the people are served. Just like all the other sections, government is for the people. The executive is for the people and precisely made to serve the people, not anybody in particular. So right now, what I want to talk about is how things will be automated. Like why, like when, how, why can things be automated so much? Like why do I talk about all these things based on automation? And I receive, in fact, a lot of questions about, well, actually, with more comments like, well, this will never be automated, and this will never be automated. And we need a human to do this. Well, let's address all this stuff, because there is a lot of there's a lot of correct assumptions in my discussions with people that are a little bit less in the know. But let's start off with what can be automated. In a nutshell, just to make it really short, everything, absolutely anything you can imagine can be automated. With artificial intelligence, robotics, everything you can imagine, without any exception. Let me be clear, there are no exceptions to automation. Everything is possible as far as automation. In fact, most AI experts are saying that AGI, so artificial general intelligence, will make its appearance or be invented sometime between now and 2040, give or take a few years. Okay, that's about approximately 20 years from now, but there's a lot of variation because we really don't know. It's hard to predict into the future, but roughly 20 years, so one generation from now. I'll be in my 60s, I'll be fine. Now, what is the difference between AGI and a normal AI? Now, a general intelligence, if I take the definition from the AGI Society, it is a general purpose intelligence comparable to that of a human mind. Okay, so very general definition, but it's designed that way. An AGI can take any kind of problem that would be presented to a human being and find a solution for it, even though it's not designed for that task in particular, just like a human being would. If you're asked to solve any kind of problem in a home, fix something, you figure it out, right? Even though you may not be an expert. If the task is to do some carpentry, you may not be a carpenter, but you can learn how to do it. Or you find a solution by either calling a carpenter or whatever, right? You figure it out. AGI would be able to do exactly that. That's in roughly 20 years from now. Between now and then, what we're developing already is what we call narrow AI. So these are excellent AI that are extremely good at doing precisely one thing: voice recognition, image recognition, analysis, and calculating, voice synthesis. You name it. Like we're experiencing a lot of things, like driving self-driving cars in about 2 years. So the self-driving cars are really good at driving people around. And in fact, they're better than human beings at doing, and safer. The voice synthesis or voice recognition are better than human beings at doing that, and so on. We have narrow AI now that are in the market. Those that are in the market, in fact, are better than human beings at doing what they do, for the most part, not all of them. But we're going to be producing more and more of those. And that makes our lives way easier because that eliminates some of the tasks that we don't want to do. But these are very specific AI that do very specific things. You can't ask a voice recognition AI to be a carpenter. It won't even understand you. It may shoot you to a link or to find you a carpenter, but that's about it. However, as we have more narrow AIs in different fields that are very specifically capable of doing certain things, and advances in robotics are able to physically move things around and so on, and do carpentry and plumbing, you know what I mean? Once we figure out all these things, and robotics, then we'll see the emergence of an AGI, not necessarily because we invent one like in a box. I believe the first emergence of AI will be because of a network of narrow intelligences. You know, they're all connected on the internet. They usually, the software is running off a cloud or several servers connected to each other. They talk to each other. They already do now. That's why Amazon and Google and Samsung and a bunch of companies, they are even opening up their AI so that people can develop new AI that plugs into it, and so on, and creating a network of capable AI and connected devices so that we can achieve more, and without thinking, without manipulating things ourselves. It makes our lives easier to do this. Now, the first AGI will likely be just a collection of thousands of narrow AI all around the world connected through the internet that collectively can achieve just about anything. Now, the front desk of these AI, we already have them. These are the digital assistants, because they're able to understand us, to know what we like, what we want to achieve, and sometimes our tastes and things like that. And they can search, do requests, even like the Duplex AI from Google very recently mentioned and released, can make phone calls and appointments for us, and they sound like human beings, and they can make a whole bunch of stuff. So these digital assistants are communicators and understanders, if you will, of human beings. But they are connected to the internet, and we're connecting a whole bunch of systems and AI to them. So at some point, using the example of the carpenter, we can ask, well, I need a carpenter to build something or to fix something in my house. You ask your digital assistant. It can't do that, but it's okay, because it can call upon let's say a company, let's call it a company for now. A company that has robotic or carpentry robots, and I can send one to your home. So the self-driving AI can go to the home. You have a robot appearing in your home, like it's specializing in building and fixing exactly what you need, right? This is a very simple example, but through the collection of narrow AI plugged into all these systems, we'll be able to, that front desk, that digital assistant will allow us to connect to any kind of problem-solving, artificial intelligence and robotics that will be able to resolve any kind of issue. And that's much faster than what we could do, because if we want a carpenter, then what do? We have to search online, or we call a friend, and that takes time. Like, what, you have a good carpenter? No, maybe not. And then you figure it out. It takes a bit of time. You eventually have to schedule, and you're not there. The carpenter is not there either at the same time. We have to figure out an appointment. Oh, he's going to be there between like 2 and 7 p.m. on that day. You have to, anyway, get off work, and it's complicated. Where the AI carpenter, for one, because it's a narrow AI, it's better than any carpenter on its own. The self-driving AI that brings it over here is better a driver than any human driver. And your digital assistant is better at finding the resource than you are, because it's really, really fast. You get your appointment. You don't need to be even to be in the house. You just give it a code, and it can probably go in without you being there. Or if you absolutely want to be there to see it work and to let it in, then it's going to accommodate to your schedule, because it's not a person. It doesn't clock off at 5 p.m. You know, you can have it in your house at 2 a.m. if you really want. You just have to go through like a 24/7 type of schedule, which is way more flexible. So this is the type of stuff that we're heading into with the increasing amount of narrow AI that are in the market, and that's why most things will become automated just through innovation and gradual, addition of AI and sophistication of them. Now that means that we're going to have more and more assistance in our work as we work towards that date of AGI. So we'll have more stuff being accomplished as we still work. But at a certain point in time, companies will just say, well, I don't need you anymore, because AI and robotics, all these things are just better at you, and then they're way less costly. They only cost the materials after the AI is purchased, right? Or the robots. And that's going to be way cheaper. There's even examples right now in the market, in the fast food industry and others, where it's cheaper and more efficient to have the robot plus the AI to buy it. Like it costs a year's salary to have the AI and the robot, but it can it can do the job of several people, and it doesn't take any breaks. It doesn't get sick, doesn't complain, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't sneeze on the hamburgers if it's a cook. So why business owners, have human beings do the work if the robots and the AIs are going to be doing it better? It's just bad business. It's bad for the environment, for the economy, for the resources, right? We should be served by AI and robotics, and human beings, us, we should be doing what we want to do and contributing to society in a different way. We need to be free to experience life, to experience life the way humans already take pleasure in. Like when we eat, we take pleasure in that. When we sleep, it's pleasurable. When we make love, or when we have friends over for a chat or anything like that, that's pleasurable. These are things that we want to keep, and that's relational, and it's also very good for well-being. We need others to actually to feel healthy. There's very good research that shows if you don't have a physical connection with other mammals or human beings or dogs and cats, whatever it is, you're going to get sick. Quite literally, you're going to get sick. Our well-being is our physical interactions, and if we can keep the stress way low, because you don't have to go to work, you have robots that do it better than you. You do that, and if the automated systems are taking care of most things, the costs, which is the environmental cost and the economical cost in raw resources, are extremely low. I mean, maybe we can finance that as a society, right? And then we're providing value to each other by being with each other, doing things that we want to do. And that also means, for a lot of people, means being innovators, being creators, being artists, because that's something they enjoy doing together when with each other. We know we like these things because we already are spending a lot of time doing it. We're bothered by having to go to work most of the time. That we don't want to do a lot of that. We'd rather do, family stuff. We'd rather do, just being with your family, raising your kids. That can be a pleasure, right? And we can't do that. Now, there is a very interesting model, because if you look at science fiction, this already exists in ideas. And I'm a big fan of Gene Roddenberry. And in particular, the Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's the series that went after the original series, because they talk in some of the shows, some of the episodes, they talk about what is the Federation and what it is to be a Federation citizen. And really interesting is that what I'm describing here is very similar, if not identical, to what they describe as a Federation citizen. They don't have any money. They have ways to trade, and we don't really know the details. I didn't go that deep into fandom, but they do things they enjoy doing. That doesn't mean they're on holiday 24/7. Yeah, like the crew of the Enterprise, they're excited about space exploration, meeting new civilizations, and discovery. That's why they're on the spaceship. Because if this is like 400 years into the future, I mean, you can do all that exploration and staying at home, like on Earth. They're going on the spaceship on their by themselves, because they want to experience it for themselves. It's exciting to be there physically. You could sit down on Earth and look at videos and let a spaceship filled with a robot spaceship, basically, filled with robots, AI, doing all that stuff. But the purpose of them being in the spaceship, for the most part, is to experience life and the universe. You have a whole bunch of others. What they experience, you see that in some of the colonies. What they want to experience is just simple life, farming, and they have technology to support them, but they want to experience the simple life, and that's what they choose. They don't need to do it. They couldn't go back to Earth and have everything handed over to them, but they choose to do something a little bit different out of passion. This is what we can build for ourselves. And we can create an economy, in particular one that I will describe in the book here, that is not quite entirely free with no trade. I'm going to go a little bit midway just to kind of show how it could work, so people can kind of imagine how it could be transferred from what we have now to something much better, something ideal. And then we can always dream about the further down the line, once we establish that, where we can eliminate a lot of the need for money itself and a bunch of other remaining hurdles to true freedom and happiness. So really what we want to achieve is we want to reduce economical costs by automating everything, and we can do that. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about more the structure of how we distribute resources, and also the involvement of money in the next couple of chapters. So I hope you stick around for that discussion. Bye-bye for now.